offering a general reading, and as always, explore what resonates within you. Your awareness to your own experience is by far your greatest teacher. So take what I say lightly and explore your own insights. Pay attention. Pay attention to what is not being said. And this isn't about like this hyper paranoid or hyper vigilant like investigation. It's not driven by fear, rather an open curiosity, similar to like reading between the lines, but with the best possible outcome in mind. Not a fear-based funnel, but an open curiosity of the heart. And imagine what you can discover when you explore this place, and exploring both the wisdom within, but kind of governed by your experience and the totality of the experience. So when you get that feeling of something feels really good about this right now, or you get that feeling of, something doesn't feel right, what does that mean? And really explore the layers in that moment. Notice what senses are coming through, notice what sounds. And if you were to like stop and ground yourself in the moment, what else is this moment providing? What other information, signs, or synchronicities are starting to add up? What is Spirit setting up for you so that you know you are on the right course, or they are trying to either teach you a lesson or redirect you? And I feel like there's like this delicate balance of redirecting and learning. So what is happening for your growth, and what possibilities lie ahead, and what gifts are here in this present moment? So the present is a gift. There are blessings here. Open up and see them. So notice too if there's like smoke and mirrors, and again, layers. This deck was calling out, so I'm going to start here. How do you know? What is your own awareness telling you? Like, what senses come through for you? So if you were to think about the breakdown of the moment, what is that? So that you can really learn. It's kind of like a learning style. Like there's a certain way that in order to be an effective student, a student of life, let's say, you have to break down your way of learning, right? To then open up and best utilize both your gifts, but bring in more information. So how is Spirit communicating with you? And how can you expand that? How can you expand that? Pay attention to what is not being said. And are you willing to go a bit deeper? And what I find is that when you start to go deeper, you start to touch uncharted territories. So let's say growing up, I'll use myself as an example, like there might have been a story or an experience that then, okay, let me not do X, Y, and Z again, and then redirect in another way. Or I remember when I was in massage school, one of the first things as a student, they were like, what do you feel? What do you sense? And I explained what I noticed when I touched the student, like what I felt. And all of a sudden the teacher was like, oh no, we don't do that. I was like, I didn't know what I did, but I understood that it was not wanted at the time. And notice when perhaps your intuition is an opportunity for your own growth, but could be mirrored back in a way that deflects someone else's accountability in the moment, but also shutting down your gifts. And I don't feel like I'm alone in that. There are a lot of mediums out there who have people around them, family, that support them on their growth and continue on their path, but that isn't always the case. So maybe as you start to dig deeper, also debunking the myths, being willing to have conversations, and letting go of those stories, perhaps if those stories are told you to shut down your intuitive insight. And perhaps that story can be a lesson applied in the moment today. Do you hope that made sense? This feels like the Magician card. And with the triangle, it feels like change and balance and stability. And notice his hands are open. It's in your hands. The bird flying in to give it to you, to gift it to you. Spirit is here to work with you with your own magic. The hair is standing out. In Kundalini Yoga and in other practices, the hair is like antenna to bring in what you need. I'll never forget when I worked at a restaurant. I had changed my hairstyle, which just do that once in a while, and she mentioned that in her culture, that when a woman changes her hair, she's changing her life. And if we think about the cells that regenerate and move through the hair growth, like, is it time to cut something off? Is it time to begin anew? Are you a clear channel? What passions are coming through for you? Just randomly letting some words come through. I do apologize if that doesn't land. This almost looks like bullets. I said passion because I was thinking fire, but a closer look, and you remember that scene in The Matrix where they dodge the bullet? They dodge the bullet because they are so aware of the present moment and working in that matrix, working in those layers. It's 25-7, learning, teaching. 18-9, almost to completion. And there's something very beautiful about her mask. Masquerade, not so much as a game, but as she holds that child, that speaks to me as far as doing what you need to do to transform. And that could be that mother's gift to protect the child, but I feel like this is more of you've had to do what you had to do to protect yourself and your inner child, whether that is shutting down the blessings or whether that is now breaking free of that cocoon and spreading your wings. Think about the layers of a butterfly. They're just mentioning dragons right now, and inviting the dragons to come in and clear your pathway to you, and also being willing to feed them, so that you can grow past the past, and allowing them to work in all dimensions simultaneously, so the dragons can reach places that perhaps you wouldn't dare go alone, or just know that you're not alone, that you have this magic at your access. And if you look on her back, there's stars. My daughter gave me a beautiful gift. She had a very thoughtful gift, and she wrote on a Band-Aid, the Sharpie, "Turn your scars to stars." So allowing that transformation and looking up. So looking up to the stars to both calm you, but give you that space in between. So before going to bed at night, reaching up to the stars, that prayer, and honoring the cycles and allowing them to lead the way to your growth, whether you're saying, okay, please show me what doors need to close, show me what I'm completing, or show me how I can open the next chapter, or kind of looking into the cycle you're at. If we look at a caterpillar all the way through to a beautiful butterfly, just honoring where you're at right now, and hold space for yourself and trust that spirit, your dragons, they have your back in that place in between, in that unseen. And I just keep saying uncharted territory. perhaps you're moving into uncharted territory or you have in the past. And so if those stories shut you down, allow them now to break free and illuminate the way. Next bottom deck energy is one. Imagine if you were to open the box, Pandora's box, and hope is there, that love is there. And yes, there's a full spectrum of the human experience. And notice how vulnerable this creature is. Could be nude under this. It's not a robe, it's not clothing. Could it be a blanket? Could it be a sheet? And you know, life isn't always a walk in the park. It can be a beautiful dance with the divine if you choose. And some of it is breaking free and allowing yourself to be vulnerable, to be heard. 3 birds. If that calls out to you, this is number 1. The first step is opening the gateway and going deeper. And perhaps working with the inner child wounds and the layers from the past, present, this lifetime, and the last. Is then, if we think of 9, you know, as in the tarot, is like wish fulfillment. The magician is working with that to allow you to manifest. And look, imagine where you began, if you're in a place of hopelessness, afraid to open that box. Imagine there's freedom when you choose to step on that path to your own growth and vulnerability. And that happens first and foremost with you to you. And we think we're hiding from others, but we're really hiding for ourselves and trapping ourselves in the box until we choose to break free of it and open. Open to our own gifts, your divine path. Your innate way of being. Your innate way of being. There are cards here. The cards are here, the wand is down. So almost like the Fool card and like the 10 of Swords and energy of surrender. Surrender to who you can be, the growth within the process, the kindness of your heart. And while others might not have been kind in the past, what if that wasn't about you? What if the ill intent you received in the past was not about you? What if it was about their own closed heart and their own closed box? And now it's not about you putting down your cards, but now reshuffling and go ahead and pick up that wand and work your magic. And hold yourself both accountable for your own growth, but also this commitment to a loving presence, knowing you're not alone. And yes, there could be scars. And what have you learned from those? What have you learned from those moments? And again, what if it wasn't about you? You were just that vessel in the moment until either you learned your lesson or you helped someone else teach theirs. And sometimes helping someone else teach theirs is about standing up for yourself. Sometimes I wonder about like being that red pill. Is it about you being cutthroat and calling someone out? Is it about you shutting down? Like shutting the door to that cycle and walking away? Boundaries, there's a gate. Boundaries. And sometimes spirit works through us in very interesting ways. That's kind of where I was going. It's interesting. It's almost like this light shining through in all directions. If you were to carefully look at your path, there's moonlight, there's the moon from the box, and that's your own faith in the mystery of life. But also it almost feels like, and it's not there, it almost feels like the sun is rising behind her. That happiness is sprouting from that faith. That was my stomach, sorry. there it goes again. Okay. Break free of the illusion of the traditions of the past, and saying that because it's tricky. But also, if we think about, pay attention to what's not being said, and it wasn't always about you, that what if the external was about someone else, someone else's fear, and you got trapped in that path of them playing out the cards that they were dealt in the best way possible, and how are you mirroring back to each other? I wish I could remember this quote. The next one that's coming to is like Brene Brown in her vulnerability talk. She talks about, life is messy. I want to clean it up, put it in a bento box. But the quote that was coming to mind, at one point Starbucks had quotes on them, and one talked about, I kept two of them actually. One was about like, life is delicious, pick up the fork. And there was another one about, and that might have been the same person, about living life without that safety net. He didn't have one hat, one role. So like his title was several things. And could be this illusion to what we ought to be, trapping someone else. And are you trapping yourself? And you might not see it, or someone else might not have seen that within themselves. 10 of Wands, the burdens, and in this context, I'm going to say the burdens of someone else's lack of accountability is now time to break free of that mold. And someone else's indecision, someone else's pain is no longer your burden to bear. That they're seeking happiness and how it played out in your dynamics, personal, professional, or otherwise, is not your responsibility. They could have been exploring the best way they knew how to conquer the world is coming to mind, and somehow you might have been a pawn in that game for them to overcome their inability to conquer their own mind and fears, and throwing what they should be cleaning up for themselves at you, and all of it in search of happiness, but through the wrong gateway, or without pure intent, like this ignorance. The landscape is yours to explore. And all these external influences of someone else's drama is part of what you need to pay attention to no longer take it on as a burden or feel like you need to clean it up, because your happiness matters. And as you spend time putting your energy and emotional resources into others' experiences, you forget about yourself. And it's time for you to enjoy the deliciousness of life. It doesn't have to be a turkey you eat. This is the Housewife Tarot. I take this as more of like the external. Now looking at, what is this? The Hidden Elements or Hidden Secrets playing card deck. I'm going to kind of ask for a little bit more on this 10 of Cups. No, they say we're going to look at this one that, Joker. Anything is possible. Anything is possible, and it's in your hands to go in the direction you choose, wearing the hat you choose. And if we think about, I wish I could remember, I can't say the name. It's a yellow book. You can get it as a Google book. The Art of Possibility. Look that up. The Art of Possibility. And there are different practices in there. And one of the practices is be the board. So if you experienced something in the past, you could have been the board for which something played out. Now, align your pieces up on your playing field, your game board, and establish your boundaries and roles with faith to start to manifest, not for your ego. And occasionally the parts of the child wounding do pop up, right? But notice and let your higher self, the divine, lead, and trust in that process. There's something about her hat standing out. And so if we think about, well, let's just explore this. I'm not sure where we're going. Since it's going one side or the other, also thinking to a swords, going back and forth. And in so many cartoons, right, there's like two things on the shoulder. One, the dragon will help protect you to keep you in alignment. Okay, so keep working with the energies to clear your path to what you're manifesting, because we want to make sure that the challenges that come before you are not, you're not toiling in someone's burdens, but you're clearing the path for growth for both you and the greater good of all involved. So this dance with the divine is with clear intent, and clear intent only, and not in that either victim mentality, but also that diabolical energy of I'm here to assert my power. No, we're here to open the gift of life for the greater good of all. Bottom deck is the King. See the bigger picture and how they're saying react accordingly to the greater good. The King oversees the community, all the pieces on the board. Mind you, I don't play chess, but it's looking out for everyone. And bare bones, or something like to the core. Again, coming back to pure intent. And that is the leading force that will drive the material realm to both your inner resources, but allow that to return to you. It's interesting, I heard a story in one of the trainings I'm in, and it was just a reminder of Spirit reminds you of when you are on point. They do remind you. And he was sharing the story of just this like coincidence, like how could I find this person by chance? You know, he's saying by chance, but nothing happens by chance. But this encounter was lined up clearly from the divine, and to me that's a signature of on the right path. My apartment number and the suite number of the building I work in, or the office, they're the same number. And that was a reminder, okay, on the right path. You know, we talk about penny, like find a penny, it's good luck. It doesn't have to be a penny. It could be a series of numbers. Overall, it just feels like when things are working, it's a reminder, keep going. And when you see those signs and synchronicities, it's like, keep going, we gotcha, right? And when things aren't working, it's time to reevaluate. So So that's more of like what's not being said. When it's not working, you're being redirected to try it anew. Whether it's to try a new way, so kind of like effective creative problem solving skills, or something else is leading, not your higher self, your inner child. So it's like time to clean it up. I swear in the IGTV videos, like clean it up has been a consistent message. It's coming through a little bit different right here. It's more of like, keep going mindfully. Next bottom deck energy is the Three of Wands. And as you choose to manifest, and it's coming through and you're working with these energies, your magic, you're co-creating with the divine. Next bottom deck energy is the Two. Not to be caught up in what you don't see in the material realm. Like, your prayers have been answered. It's like you've put in that order. Now you have to wait for your package to arrive. And you can track all day long, but really that package is going to arrive when it's time. And so really trusting, and again, not to be caught up in what you don't see. And so the mindset directs, if you're like, oh, it's not here yet, and you're like toiling in that, then you're going to continue to see that. And Spirit might put up more delays for you to encourage your faith in your destination ahead and to encourage the sense of patience. Now looking flip side, yeah, this is happening for my growth. Yes, Spirit's got my back. Yes, I asked for confirmation, some signs and synchronicities to reassure me that I'm on the right path. You're going to see that. They're going to show you. And really it's about staying in that place in between and trusting the divine magic within and around you, in the places between light and dark, heaven and earth, the here and now, this lifetime, those last. And pausing to be still to feel that out. Wow, there's a lot of emotions coming through right now. I was talking with a friend and she's an incredible artist. Oh my gosh, she's amazing. And we were talking past lives. All of a sudden I just saw one of her mandalas. And every time I go to her house, I'm like so inspired by the artwork. Whether it's how she's painted her walls, her artwork, and it just felt like each moment is like this unfolding gift happening simultaneously in all directions. Like your healing today helps the ancestral patterns. It helps you clear moving forward, growing forward, like in your lineage, but also this lifetime matters perhaps so much more than those last for you to shine your light. New concepts, new ways of being, new ways of seeing, and new ways of doing. With this intention that what you do today matters, and it matters not just for you, but the greater good of humanity, for your children, for your great-grandchildren. Perhaps you don't have kids and you don't want to have kids, that's fine. Path is there, really in it. It's all happening through your free will, your ability to take accountability for your own growth and transforming the roots of the path that you thought you ought to be on, the path that you feel out for yourself each time you choose to level up. Get one final message for you. And this is the empowerment deck. I haven't updated my website with this one yet. So it's a plastic finish. And there are 44 cards with a message on one side, question on the other. There's a name card, and there are blank cards in here. So with a Sharpie, that's what I used, you have the opportunity to add your own words. I felt like for an empowerment deck, how could I give you every word that you need? So there are 8 blank cards in here as part of the deck for you to add your own messages or messages you've received or words that have helped you on your path. Okay, I just hearing word track, and that's coming from a training they use that as like, it's like words as your toolbox, your mantra, opening your awareness. So while we want to pay attention to what's not being said, we want to direct what's being said with purpose. Accountability. Are you ready? Are you ready to step up? You ready to step in? Bottom deck, your next step. What feels like your next step? What feels like your next step? And are you ready to take accountability? Own it. They're saying grow up and get going on your path. I do hope this served well. As always, take what resonates. You know best. I'm exploring based on my experience, the cards I see, and this moment. So you might read more into the cards, a different message, and I encourage you to read it the way that feels right for you and listen intuitively, not as a definitive. Thank you.